What if your everyday Android phone could, like, transform into this powerful cybersecurity toolkit? Imagine carrying a full penetration testing lab right there in your pocket.
It sounds almost like science fiction, doesn't it? But it's actually, well, totally doable today.
Absolutely. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're unpacking Kali NetHunter. It's an open source mobile pen testing platform, and it's built on, the very capable Kali Linux.
Yeah, and our mission today is really to get under the hood, understand how this platform takes your Android device and gives it these pretty surprising capabilities. We're looking at the sources you shared, going to pull out the key bits of info.
Exactly. We'll look at how you install it, the different versions, from just poking around to the really advanced stuff, and importantly, why this matters. Whether you're deep into cybersecurity or just like fascinated by what these little devices can actually do. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's start with maybe the easiest way in, the rootless version. Rootless sounds a bit strange when you're talking Kali Linux, right? For someone new, what's kind of the most surprising thing about getting this power without rooting your phone?
I think that is the most surprising part. It's specifically designed for phones that are, unrooted and unmodified, which means, and this is huge,
Hmm.
you don't void your warranty. That's a big barrier for a lot of people, understandably. You're not messing with the core OS in a permanent way.
Yeah, avoiding that warranty issue is definitely a big plus. Are there any, like, subtle catches, things people should be aware of, even with this easier rootless way, beyond just the features it doesn't have?
That's a good question. I mean, the setup itself is pretty straightforward. Prerequisites are minimal, just Android 6 or higher. And interestingly, even if your phone is rooted, you can still go this route. The main maybe catch during setup is just making sure you grab the right versions of the apps you need.
Okay, so walk us through that. If someone wants to try this, what are the actual steps?
Right. So it starts with downloading the NetHunter Store app. You get that from store.nethunter.com. Once you have the store, you install three main things from it: Termux, the NetHunter CAX client, and Hacker's Keyboard. And here's a key tip. Termux, it's really best to get it from F-Droid or GitHub, the version on the Google Play Store, often outdated.
Ah, okay, that's a good practical tip. Could save some frustration. So you've got Termux installed. Then what?
You open Termux, run a couple of commands: pkg update, -yn, and pkg upgrade y, standard stuff, setting up storage, updating packages. Then you download a specific NetHunter installer script and run it inside Termux. Now this part takes some time. The full Kali environment, download and extraction, could be 30 minutes, could be an hour. So yeah, you need a stable Wi-Fi connection.
And after all that waiting, you actually get the full graphical desktop
Yeah.
on your phone. That's pretty wild.
That's the goal, yeah. To get the GUI, you set a password for what's called a NetHunter CAX session. It'll give you a port number, something like 5901. Then you fire up the NetHunter CAX client app, put in that port number, your password, and boom, you're looking at a Kali desktop.
Wow, okay. That's surprisingly accessible. But I heard, for people on the absolute newest Android versions, like Android 15 on the latest Pixels, there's a little tweak needed to keep that GUI running smoothly.
Ah, yes, good point. On some newer Android versions, like 15 on the Pixel 7 Pro or 8 Pro, you might see the Kali GUI just disappear. The fix, usually, is to dive into your phone's developer options you have to enable those first and turn off something called child process restrictions.
Hmm.
That basically tells Android, hey, leave Kali's background stuff alone.
Okay, that's super specific, but probably really helpful for someone hitting that wall. But even with this workaround, this rootless version, it must have limits, right? Compared to the full-fat version.
Oh, absolutely. It's great for accessibility, but yeah, you don't get some of the more advanced hardware-dependent features. Things like Wi-Fi injection, for messing with wireless networks directly, or HID attacks, making your phone act like a keyboard. Bluetooth Arsenal can bus attacks for cars. Those are out. Metasploit works, which is great, but without full database support. And some simple tools, like POP for process monitoring, might not work. But it's important to note, even though you're rootless on Android, inside the NetHunter environment, that isolated Linux system it creates, you do have root privileges, so you can install tools and run things as root within Kali.
Right, so root inside the Kali box, but not messing with the main Android system. That makes sense. Okay, so rootless is the easy entry point. But for those who want the full power, that's where rooting comes in. With NetHunter Lite and the full NetHunter editions, why take that extra plunge? What does rooting really unlock here?
Yeah, going rooted, it unlocks significantly more because you're basically giving NetHunter permission to interact with the phone's hardware and system at a much deeper level. It is, like you said, a bigger commitment. Your device must be rooted, and you need a custom recovery installed. TWRP Team Recovery Project is the most common. That custom recovery is like a more powerful maintenance mode for your phone. It lets you flash things like NetHunter. And the full NetHunter edition, that goes even further. It needs a custom kernel, the core part of the OS built specifically for your device model and NetHunter to enable all those hardware features.
A custom kernel. Wow, so you're really tinkering deep inside the phone's software. How does someone even start this process? Installing on a rooted device sounds involved.
It is, yeah. It usually starts with unlocking the bootloader on your Android device. Big warning here. This will wipe your phone completely. Everything gone. So backup, backup, backup is step 0. Then you often need to be on the stock Android version, like AOSP, or a clean custom ROM like Lineage OS. You'll need the right Android drivers on your computer, enable developer mode on the phone, enable USB debugging, several hoops to jump through.
Okay, prep work done. Then the actual rooting.
Right. The rooting itself, that often involves using specific tools for your device, like Nexus Root Toolkit for older Nexus phones, or Bacon Root Toolkit for the OnePlus One, for example. Once it's rooted, you'd usually check with an app like Super SU to confirm. Then finally, you use that custom recovery, TWRP, to flash the official Kali NetHunter image, which comes as a zip file. And crucially, before you flash, check the SHA-256 checksum of the zip file you downloaded. It's like a digital fingerprint, ensures the file is legit and wasn't messed with.
That does sound like a process. What if there's no official NetHunter image for your specific phone? Are you just stuck?
Well, not necessarily. For the really determined folks, if there's no official build, you can actually try to build a custom NetHunter image yourself. You'd grab the source code from their GitLab repository.
Yeah.
The big hurdle there is getting the kernel source code for your particular device model. That can be tricky, sometimes impossible, if the manufacturer doesn't release it.
Wow, building it yourself. That's definitely for the advanced user. Okay, assuming you get it installed, either official or custom, what happens next? Post-install setup.
Yeah, once it's flashed and you reboot, you'll usually open the NetHunter app itself on your phone, start the Kali Root Manager in there, install the Hacker Keyboard app, because, typing commands on a phone keyboard isn't fun. Then you'll probably want to configure some Kali services, maybe enable SSH, you can connect to it remotely, initialize the exploit database, and definitely, first thing, run an update inside Kali.sudo apt. Update sudo apt full upgrade, DAC toe-a-tail. Got to get the latest tools and patches.
Right, always update. Okay, so we've established it's a commitment to get the rooted version installed. Let's talk payoff. What are these killer advanced features you get?
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. With the right Wi-Fi chip in your phone, or, more likely, a compatible external USB Wi-Fi adapter plugged in via OTG, you get Wi-Fi injection. That means serious wireless attacks, capturing raw network traffic, grabbing Wi-Fi password handshakes, even kicking devices off networks with DAuth attacks. Tools like the air cracking suite become fully usable.
Okay, that's a massive step up from just scanning networks. What about, physical access attacks?
Yep. You get HID keyboard attacks, sometimes called Duck Hunter HID. Your phone, connected with an OTG cable, pretends to be a keyboard and can type pre-written scripts onto a target computer incredibly fast, like over 1,000 words a minute. It basically replaces dedicated hardware like the USB rubber ducky. I remember when those first came out, it seemed so cool. Now your phone does it. You also get bad USB MITM attacks. Again, using an OTG cable, plug your phone into a computer and it can intercept and relay that computer's network traffic. Man in the middle, right there.
Man, Bluetooth. And did you say car hacking earlier? That sounds kind of wild.
Yeah, exactly. There's the Bluetooth arsenal, lets you do reconnaissance, spoofing, maybe even mess with audio over Bluetooth. And yes, CAN arsenal. Connecting to a car's CAN bus, the internal network, and performing diagnostics or potentially other things. Car hacking, basically. Plus, Metasploit, the big exploitation framework, runs with full database support, making it much more powerful.
Okay, the attack surface just exploded. What about other hardware things or tools?
On supported hardware, you might get HDMI output, so you can connect your phone to a bigger screen. You can use special USB-Y cables to both connect an OTG device, like that Wi-Fi adapter, and charge your phone at the same time, which is handy. Support for software-defined radio, SDR, that's in there too if you have hardware like a Hack RF, lets you play with a huge range of radio signals. And then just the sheer breadth of tools. Nmap for scanning, Metasploit payload generator, Searchsploit for finding exploit code, password crackers, network sniffers like TCP dump and Kismet, even tools to help cover your tracks after you've been somewhere you perhaps shouldn't have been.
So, okay, let me just process this. With a rooted phone and the full NetHunter, my phone isn't just a phone. It's a Wi-Fi weapon, a keyboard impersonator, a network interceptor, a Bluetooth meddler, and maybe even a car interface. That's quite the Swiss Army knife. Given these different levels, picking the right phone seems pretty critical, doesn't it? Let's talk compatibility. Rootless first, is it really any Android 6 Plus device?
Pretty much, yeah. The Rootless edition is designed for very broad compatibility. We mentioned the Pixel 8 Pro, 7 Pro working well even on Android 15. Most modernish Android phones should handle it fine.
Okay. But for the rooted editions, especially full NetHunter with all the hardware stuff, which phones are the best bet? What should someone actually look for if they want that top-tier experience?
Right. And the history here is interesting. NetHunter's GitLab repository actually lists kernels for like over 230 builds covering more than 100 different devices. It's huge. But Offensive Security, the Kali folks, they officially publish ready-made images for the most popular ones. Originally, it was all about the Google Nexus line, Nexus 4, 5, 6P, the Nexus 7 tablet, 9, 10. Those were the early flagships for NetHunter.
Yeah, I remember the Nexus days. What about more recent stuff that people might actually have or be able to get?
OnePlus devices have become really popular. Offensive Security often points to the original OnePlus One as a kind of reference device, but newer ones like the OnePlus 7 Pro, 8 Pro, 8T, those are often called the best easy option phones. They're powerful, often unlockable, and have good official support. Samsung Galaxy phones too. Various models like the Note 10 Plus wings, older ones like the S5, S6 Edge, S7, even the S20 FE. Xiaomi is another big one. Lots of support for devices like the Pocophone F3, the original F1, Mi 9T, various Redmi phones.
Google's own Pixels, are they still in the mix for rooted?
Some are, yeah. Pixel 3, 3XL, the 4a, 5G have official images. Beyond those big names, you'll find support for various Motorola's, Nokia, Huawei, LG, Sony, Realme phones. Even the Nothing phone. And here's a curveball. Smartwatches, specifically the TicWatch Pro series, can run NetHunter too.
Hold on, a hacking smartwatch? Seriously, what would you even do with that?
Yeah. I mean, imagine doing some very discreet Wi-Fi scanning, or maybe launching a simple HID attack just from your wrist. It's kind of mind-blowing, shows how compact this stuff has gotten. And there's one more category, Kali NetHunter Pro. This is a special build, like a full Kali Linux install, for specific devices like the PinePhone and PinePhone Pro, those Linux-first phones. That involves flashing an image to an SD card. But yeah, the main takeaway for compatibility, always check the official Offensive Security NetHunter download page or their GitHub. That's where the latest, most accurate list of supported devices will be.
Okay, that's a really wide range, from old Nexus devices to smartwatches. So let's zoom out. Why does all this matter? What's the big picture when we talk about turning your phone into, well, a hacking tool?
I think the core benefit is portability, obviously. But it's more than just, oh, cool, I could do this on the bus. It's the ultimate carry your toolkit everywhere solution. Think about being a security pro, maybe doing an on-site assessment. You find something unexpected, maybe critical. Instead of having to run back to your car for your laptop or wait to get back to the office, the tool you need is potentially right there in your pocket. That changes how quickly and honestly how discreetly you can work in the field.
That makes a lot of sense for field work. It almost feels like it democratizes access to these powerful tools in a way.
That's a good way to put it. You get this huge suite of professional-grade tools, pen testing, network analysis, vulnerability assessment on a device you already own. And that leads to cost effectiveness. You might not need to buy as much dedicated, specialized hardware, which can be really expensive. Your phone could replace that rubber ducky, maybe even a basic Wi-Fi pineapple, depending on the task. And for the rooted versions, that deep system access enables really advanced testing that you just couldn't do otherwise on a phone.
It sounds amazing, but surely there are downsides. I mean, it's still a phone, not a high-end laptop.
Exactly. Performance is a big one. Phones have limited CPU power, limited RAM compared to a decent laptop or desktop. So some tools might run slowly or crash or just not work at all. A dedicated computer is almost always going to be more capable, more stable. The user interface too. Kali Linux is designed for a mouse and keyboard, a bigger screen. Trying to navigate complex menus and read tiny text on a phone screen, it can be challenging, frustrating even. And battery life, running scans, cracking passwords, driving a Wi-Fi adapter, that stuff chews through battery.
Yeah, I can imagine trying to run a heavy scan and watching the battery just plummet. And talking about all this power, we absolutely have to touch on the ethical side of things.
Yes. Critically important, it cannot be stressed enough, using these tools, doing any kind of penetration testing or security assessment, it must only be done with explicit written permission from the owner of the systems you are testing. Get consent, period. Ethical hacking is about finding vulnerabilities to help fix them, to make things more secure. This knowledge, this power, it's only valuable, only right when it's used responsibly and legally.
Well said. Absolutely crucial. So, we've really dug into Kali NetHunter today. We've seen how you can take a regular Android phone and turn it into this incredibly versatile portable security tool. From the super accessible Rootless edition, great for learning or quick tasks, all the way up to the full power rooted version with its hardware level capabilities.
It really is amazing just how much potential is packed into these devices we carry around every day.
It is. So, what does this all mean for you listening? Well, it certainly highlights that potential, maybe makes you see your phone a bit differently, but it also brings up a bigger question, doesn't it? In a world where our phones can do these incredibly powerful things, things that used to require specialized gear, how does that shift our perspective on personal cybersecurity, on device security, and just the whole digital landscape around us? Something to maybe think about next time you pick up your phone.
That wraps up today's discussion. Thanks for watching and tuning in. If you're curious to dive deeper into this topic, make sure to visit our website. The link is in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you never miss an update. See you next time.